Morning. Traditional, or well, at least for 30 odd years, Ron Ranson type of painting, using the large butcher's tray, and I've squeezed out some tubes, bits of little dollops from the tubes, so that we're going to use wet paint rather than scrub away at the dry palette, which we normally use, which is that one. Nothing wrong with this, it's great. It's done me for over 300 videos. But I just want to show, if I can, if it works, how to paint wet in wet, but use more wet colour or more pure colour straight from the tube. Although these are Cotsman watercolours, they're not saturated like the artist quality, with the exception of the light red. Alizarin's quite strong, Payne's grey is quite strong, but the rest of the colours are fairly weak, unsaturated. So I'm going to have a go, if you don't mind me drinking my cup of tea, at a made up mountain scene, Lake District, North Wales. I can only paint my own country, or UK. So with this graphite stick, I'll just sketch in some mountains, and right across to a fairly low horizon here. And this is going to be reflections down there, but I want to do it quite a wet day anyway, so we'll just put that across there. So we'll have another lower set of slopes there, and then we can have more hills, and we can do something like that as the distance, and the reflections coming down there, so something like that. So that's all we're going to do for the drawing. The paper is Fabriano. It's £130 weight. It's lovely for wet in wet. It's a very white paper, but quite smooth. Not such a great one for a dry brush. You have to be a bit careful with it. And as it expands, because we're going to put water on, we can re-clip it to keep it nice and flat. So I'm going to put a preliminary wash on of raw sienna, just to warm the whole painting up. But instead of wetting the paper first, I'm going to wet it with the colour. So here we go. The thing about painting with the wet paint straight from the tubes and mixing up, we're doing more mixing on the palette than on the paper. So you tend to get a lot of water swimming around on the tray. So you have to watch that and have plenty of cloth or tissues ready to soak it off. So get it nice and tinted all over. And while that's wet, we can put in some nice sky colours, a bit of cloth. So we'll put a bit of ultramarine. Now the paper's wet, it will take this colour, this lovely thick. So you've got nice wet paint when you want it. So let's just put that in, and then we'll mix a bit of grey in with that. Get some nice dark. Leave lots of lighter areas, but I want to get some nice dark, look, that nice cloud across the top here, and we'll have a bit of cloud coming across there, and then into that we can, oops, put in some heavier raw sienna, just a bit of light red, add some nice colours in there. Just drop them in. No, that didn't mix very well, did it? But never mind. A bit of a nice bit of colour in there. Right, now that's expanding. Let's reclip it. We're going to paint into that. Now I don't know what's going to happen to it. You know about it, as much about it as I do. So I want to put in some nice background, cliffs, rocks here. Just get that in. Now because you've got access to this lovely lovely paint, you can, the paint being thicker will hopefully will stay where it is. And as you come down, get a bit lighter. Oh, I've got paint on my hoodie. And then we'll put some nice trees on the bottom here. I'll get that down to that horizon there. And we'll put a bit of nice centre in. Ooh. Right, now while that is drying off, I'll put another similar colour on the other side, but not quite as the same colour, but just add a bit of variety. Bit of blue, bit of yellow. Just enjoy the freedom of this type of painting. Get that across there like that. Put these darks in, down to the trees at the bottom. Using paint really straight off the tray now, without mixing. Nice and heavy. Oh, just add it in. Not okay. Now we can put some trees in here, just right, well, just a bit of detail. It'll all hopefully make sense as we put these bits of detail in. We'll have some on there. Coming down across there. Still going to do the background. Right, I'll clean my brush, give it a good clean out. Look, I've got paint all over my, but being water soluble, it's okay. You wouldn't believe it, but these are my little pieces of towel to take the excess moisture off. My wife washes those in the washing machine. Don't throw anything away in this house. Right, with a card. Oh, I know why I've done all this mess, made all this mess. Because I'm leaning, I've got my hoodie thing, it's my tray. I haven't got enough room for this tray really without dangling everything over it. So let's put in a, put that over there. Let's, just to edge into it. And just a bit of some rocks. But mind you, if you're not careful, you can overdo this. But it saves a lot of paint, so just right. Okay, let's stretch that again. See, this is the sort of painting you can't do with the dry pans very easily, or the dry bits, because you can't get access to the paint that you want quick enough. And this is what this is doing. You can use, you can use a knife to do this sort of thing. And you can use the knife to texture. There's no limit to what you can actually do with all this. Right. All adds interest to the surface of the paper. Right, I want to put some harder. I'm going to find my brush. On the top of these now, some nice greens, all almost sort of neat. Because that's too. Brush is losing hairs. This is surrounded by wet in wet, but as you come forward you want to lose a bit of the wet in wet. You want more detail. So okay, we'll do the same down the bottom here. On this one, get some nice, oh, we've got nice autumn colours in there as well. Right, now I want to do some background to there now. Clean my brush. Or when my wife comes in and sees the state of my hoodie, she just washed this one. Swig of tea. And then when we go back to the reflections here, we can re-wet the paper, but I'll make sure, you have to make sure it's dry first. So let's go in with some background colours, some nice blue, and a bit of that. A little bit lighter in there, a little sienna. And then we'll go in with a bit of harder edge. Whoops, a bit more blue in that. leaving a couple of bits of white there. Now, with my plastic card, I think I can just edge it a little bit. I probably can't have left it too much there. I'll put in a little bit of harder edged blue there, blue, just to separate it from the sky. Okay. Right. Give it a good dry now. So this bit here anyway. I'll do some more detail with some hard dark rocks in there on top of that. Now wet clean brush, get water in there. I can see this hake having to be replaced soon, it's starting to lose its hairs. Might take Bill's advice and use a discreet bit of super glue in there, along there, but make sure it doesn't drop down the sides, just to hold the hairs from coming out. I tried that on another hake and the paint went in the wrong place. Right, so now we want these colours in there, just leaving a bit of white across there. Now darker. Get those in now. I'm going for colour with this, and we can just do the same here. I've got more greens in that side. So let's put them in. Waste a lot of paint doing this. The thing is, the paint, when I finish with it, will dry on the palette. So it all goes to waste, but never mind. Just for demonstration. Right, get some more darks in there. Right, see what happens to that. Now a bit of knife work now. Well, no, I should put some bit of sky colour in there. Right, that'll do for that. Right, now with my trusty knife, so it's clean, and we'll put in some burnt sienna, bit of grey, and then just oops, watch where it's going. And then we'll do the same here. Nearly there. Right, let's let that go. I might have ruined it. But if you get the idea of doing different things, trying different things, we'll put it in a mount in a minute. I'll just dry it off, and then we'll. Now, from where I'm sitting, it looks a bit of a mess, but by the time we put a mount on it and we've uploaded it to YouTube, it will look completely different, I'm sure. But if it doesn't, you won't see it. So I'll get a little bit of white. So I can always use these colours again for mixing, using the white gouache with the watercolour on here, because you don't really want to mix. If you're doing a pure watercolour, you don't want to mix gouache with your main paint, because it'll get in everywhere and you'll lose the transparency of the whole idea. So let's just try to put in some sails. Just to add a little bit of detail against the darker background, where it will show. It won't show if it's light against light, but it's dark against. Okay, that's a little bit not too good, but let's put it in a mount. I'll sign it first. For sheer bravery, it's worth a signature. Probably just got a bit heavy there. But it's the idea of using different things. You can use sponges to apply and make it's getting a surface, getting an interesting surface. Put that on there, like that, and put that on there like that. Put it up there like that. So there we are. We've got a painting using some different techniques, using the plastic card, using a knife, and using thick paint with the edge of the knife. I'll zoom in on this so you can see what I've done there. Overdone, but a little goes a long way, and I've broken my own rules. Sails coming up here, but I quite like it. Let's just move the camera around a bit so we're square on. Right, let's right, there we are. Just zoom out. Look at it again, just go a little bit larger. So there we are, a mountain scene, Lake District, wherever you want it to be, North Wales, boats on a lake. But have a go yourself. Try different things until you get an effect. You're creating art, and there is absolutely no limit. There are no rules really, other than with watercolour. Of course, you go from light to dark, or you can go either way if you're going to use gouache, like white gouache with it, which is fine. Just be creative. It's very difficult, I know, but the more you get used to your material, that's why we keep 7 or 8 colours on the palette. It stops you trying to get or stops you from getting in a muddle with too complicated choices. Keep things simple. That's the best advice I can give. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.